All right. All right. All right, guys. This is Jeff with Warrior Trading. We're going to try this again. Hopefully, our technology does not fail us here. Real briefly, I'm going to go through our open trades, talk about them a little bit, as well as what my thoughts are on the market. And we're going to build my watch list here, hopefully in a short amount of time. And then we'll get to any questions you guys have. If anybody has any questions, you can email me, jeff@warriortrading.com. So today, closed out half of our ConocoPhillips short vertical. We did a bear call spread on COP, and we locked up about let's see, we closed half of the trade here for a 55% win. A couple other open positions we have: GT Goodyear Tire. We also have a bull put spread on that, and that is up for us right now about $800. So we'll look to close out some of that tomorrow. Hopefully, and let's see where else we at here. IBB, we have a vertical a bear put spread on IBB, and that one is currently up $50 for us. LinkedIn, I tried to close out today. I've been in LinkedIn for about a week now. It was a vertical. It was a call spread, a bull call spread, and we were just looking for it to hit 120. I've been on the ask all day long, and for some reason I'm just not getting filled. We closed at my ask price, $295 for the spread. So looking to get out of that for about an $984 win. We are short the market through a bull call spread in VXX, looking for a volatile pullback in the S&P, and I'll show you what I'm talking about quickly here. The SPY, it keeps testing this area right here we know to be resistance, right around 195 or so. We broke over it today and we had a nice strong close, but the issue isn't moving up over these levels, it's the volume, right? We're on declining volume here. So ideally, to confirm a breakout, we want to see an increase in relative volume, but in fact what we have is a decrease. So that tells me that there's no confidence in this move, and we might just get far enough along here where big money comes in and says, screw it, all right, we're out of the danger zone here, and let's push this thing back to 200. That's our next target, this 200 area, and if that's what happens, then great. We'll lose on the VXX trade. If not, and volume does come back in and this area fails, we're going to have a test again of the 180 area. Of course, this is a VXX vertical, so we're looking at 27 by 29. So all we really need here is a push to the mid 180s on the SPY. I think will make us profitable on VXX. So we're down on that one about 16%. And then also our Verizon vertical, which is still open, looking to probably take some of that off tomorrow. We're up just a few $100 on that, about 11%. So always, when it comes to options trades, I'm looking for, on average, 30%, 50% wins. Especially with these credit spreads, there's such a high probability chance that you're going to get some opportunity to profit if you do them right. It's silly not to pay yourself. So I get a lot of questions, why do I choose credit spreads over debit spreads? And that's because debit spread, you have a higher chance of making more. You have a debit spread, you have a bigger chance of higher profit. And credit spread, you have, your profits are capped, right? Because you're getting the credit for putting on the trade. That's the most you can make on the trade. But the difference is a debit spread has a lower probability of success than a credit spread if you do it right. And this has a lot to do with implied volatility ranks, and understanding how selling premium works versus buying it. So it's a lot to do about timing. A couple of the trades I want to talk about for this week. Very rarely do I ever roll over watch list ideas. However, in this case, I'm going to. I've been looking at Tyson Foods for a short opportunity for quite some time, and finally looking like, it's not looking like it's ready to come in yet, but when it does, out of all the stocks that have been moving up Out of all the stocks that have been moving up over the last week or two, consecutive days, TSN has put in a roughly a 20% move in the last couple of weeks, so following earnings. So this thing hasn't really stopped much or slowed down much. It is 6 points away from its 20 moving average. The more these stocks get extended to the upside, the more the rubber band is going to snap. The faster it's going to snap and normalize everything, revert to the mean. So kind of what I'm looking for here, and so I'm just going to keep an eye on this one. If it wants to keep running, that's even better, because it's a higher probability that when the market is weak one day, the people are going to come and take their profits out of this, and the buyers are going to leave. You can see it's moving up on declining volume like everything else, so there's less and less buyers moving this thing higher. Shorts are just waiting for their opportunity. This was on watch yesterday, and now it's on watch again today. The target here is $62. The short entry is under 65.20. So it closed at 66.50, just off the highs. The high was 66.67. Let me throw in this little arrow here. So we're going to look to enter when we're making new lows. When we break the low, this is going to be our entry, and then obviously our target is going to be this little support area right in here. See that? So TSN is on short watch yet again. For a move back toward reality. Strong stock, right? We're not looking to short it and ride it back down to the 40s. We're just looking for the pullback, the retracement here. It's a very simple reversal play. We're in and we're out. We take our profits. The more extended it gets, the higher probability it's going to be. So we're on short watch yet again for move back toward reality. Look for short entry under 65.20 and a target of $62. The stop will be over 66 on our initial entry there. Okay, another one I wanted to carry forward from today. I had an order out all day to fill, and unfortunately there was no fill. Delta Airlines is a very interesting setup here. A lot of bullish momentum here. There's a lot of positive fundamentals on the stock. It is trading above its moving averages, and it is in a very large range. I am looking to trade this. There's a couple ways you can trade this. Do I think this has room to $52? Well, yes, of course it does. It's in a nice bull flag right now. Do I think it'll break $52 on the upside? I don't think so. It's been in this range, if you look here, for the past year and a quarter. So it has not broken out of this range in the past year and a quarter. I mean, it traded below for a little while here, and a little while back here when the market was doing its dirty thing. But now it's back in this range between $45 and $52. So I'm not overly bullish on it, but I'm definitely not bearish on it anymore. And so my opinion is I want to do a neutral trade on this. I want to do a directionally neutral trade, and for that we go to the Iron Condor. So because I think this will not trade will not trade over 52 in the next few weeks, and it will not trade below 45 in the next few weeks, I'm going to look to put on an Iron Condor with a 45 and 52 will be my short strikes, and we'll look to collect a credit that we can then wait for theta and the implied volatility to kind of drop with this after this big sharp move here, and we'll look to take profits at 30 to 50%. So if I get a 60 cent net credit, look to take profit at 30 cents, put on a few of these contracts here, and I think this is going to be a very high probability, relatively easy win. Of course, now that I said that, I probably jinxed myself, but that's my idea on this. Keep it between 45 and 52 over the next few weeks, and we'll make 50% return on this. So that is my second one I want to keep on watch. This would be another carry forward from yesterday. I still like DAL in between 45 and 52, and we'll look to get filled on my open see that open iron Condor. Okay, so to answer your questions now, CXRX, it finally held over 30 today, and last time it did, then it rallied 33% in the week. CXRX. Let's see. CXRX, jeez. Look at the volume on this thing, man. It had no volume for the longest time, then one day out of nowhere had big volume, and now it's trading on average 200,000 shares, 150. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Held over $30. Yes, it did. It barely did. Last time it was over 30 bucks. This thing ran potentially, yeah, 30%, 40%. You know, that is not in and of itself enough of a reason to like it for long. You'd have to check the fundamentals on it. Let me see if there's any kind of news. I don't know what earnings are for this guy. I'm not seeing any earnings here. Maybe it's because no, they had earnings back in November. So let me check. I have one more place to look here. And I'll grab this, and I'll do this, and I'll do this. Okay, this has earnings on 3/22. So, you know, I do see what you're talking about here. It's just been trading sideways in this very narrow range for a while, and it is testing the top of the range. You know, potential long over $31 or so really opens this thing up here for move back to 40 bucks. But I'm going to take a look at some of the scans from today and see if we can't find any other high probability setups. It's not a bad look. It's just really light in volume, and I don't know anything about it. It's not. I don't know how. I mean, you know, it's not a bad look. Here it is on eSignal, guys. You can see with the TAS market maps, or the TAS boxes here, it's testing the top of this box, the red and the green here. This is a major support area, or excuse me, major resistance area. And so if volume comes into this and if the sector holds up, this is not a bad opportunity here. But this would be one for very small size because it is very illiquid. I wouldn't go heavy on this one. Okay, good luck. All right, so let's flip through some of these charts here. We have a long scan and a short scan to get through. And take a look at some of these names in here. Good old OCN. So this is not a very clean chart. A lot of noise. If I have to draw that many lines to find targets every 20 cents or whatever, I mean, it's only 32 cent ATR, so a very liquid stock, you could go heavy on it and take profits every 20 cents, but I think we can probably find better setups, but we'll keep it in mind just in case. We'll come back to it here. No good, no good, no good, no good, no good. Also no good. Definitely no good. That's crap. That's crap. That's crap. That's crap. That's crap. See, these are all awesome. This is a really awesome looking bullish breakout here over the top of this little flag. Actually, it looks like a medieval battle axe. And you know, you have a break above the top of it here, and there's a breakout over the 200. It all kind of coincided. Would have loved to have found this stock yesterday, but it wasn't alerted yesterday because the volume was anemic. So we're trying to find these setups before they go. That's always the key here. Okay, here's an interesting look. Interesting top right here under or at $16, and what's the high here? 32, 33, 34. So 1634 is the high. So looking for a potential move on HTH. I don't know anything about this company here. It's a specialty finance. Doesn't really mean anything to me. We'll check the fundamentals on it right now. This is a Class B setup, in my opinion. This is not a great setup. Oh, it was earnings today. That's what the deal was. That's the dealio. So, transcript of HTH's earnings conference call or presentation from February 16th at 2 p.m. So, this little guy had earnings, and I don't know which direction it's going to go. Presumably it was good earnings. I have to look at the conference call here real quick. Interesting. So it doesn't look horrible. Mixed numbers. Shall take a look at this here. If it's in fact a decent report, we could see a move here, at least short term, back to 1720, 1730 area. We're going to run into some resistance right in here, and then also back here, whenever this was, January 2015. So we see that we have a room window here over 1635 to about 1720 or so, we'll say. There's only a 70-cent ATR, and so that's very good. It's a very limited range. Even though today it blew out the ATR and put in a big move, that's because of the earnings. So we like this one potentially here as the volume comes in and pushes this thing back higher over resistance. It halted right at resistance here, so back up and over that could be a good long. We'll ride the long train back to the 1725 area. So let's put this one on watch here just to see what happens. HTH is going to be an earnings play that popped on high relative volume just under big resistance. Looking for a long entry over 1635 with a stop at 16. Room here is to 1725. If this thing really wants to get carried away here, I think potentially we could get up into this area here, which is going to be 1780, 18. So I'll put then shy of 18. Okay, so you wanted me to take a look at TXMD. TXMD, okay, this was a gapper and sell-off today. Wow, big sell-off from 11 bucks. So this thing opened up here, let's see what it opened at, 629. Closed at 6 bucks. And this was earnings play today, you said. It is popped up a little bit after hours, I guess. 10 cents after hours. You got room here to 650, pretty clear. I mean, you got the 20 EMA, you got this resistance, and you got this low point, this pivot back here, also this pivot right here, and a couple resistance spots in here. So there's a pretty clear area. I think that this thing is going to get to 650. It's a very well respected area on the chart. If you can get to 650, then there's probably room to $7. Keep in mind you are trading under all the moving averages, so as of right now it is in a very bearish pattern. It's a downtrend. Just as easily if support here at 575 or so breaks, this thing's moving down to 515. So that's kind of one of those you want confirmation. Definitely want some confirmation on, and I would look for an entry. I mean, this is tough, right? Because it's at $6, and this thing was the high of day was 630, but you don't want to wait 30 cents to get into this. So this is one you might have to scale into, or give it another day or two to set up under that 650 mark for the move to 7. I'm not sure that there's a good entry on this that's very safe. It's hard to define your risk here, because if we use a traditional breakout candle over candle, you know, you're waiting well beyond the scope of the ATR. So this one would have to keep on watch probably for 2 days to see what ends up happening with it. All right, let me flip through some more charts here, see if I can't find something else that has not already broken out, but is in a high probability setup, which is what we like to see. Okay, we have HTH. Oh my, this is, nope. Alright, I saw this one earlier. It's a very light trading stock, only 250K shares a day. Sorry, I had to turn that off. I was getting blown up with notifications. I was about to throw it through the wall. Okay, so this thing has a high here of 1407. Really hasn't traded at this level. It moved up off the lows, right? Nice pivot there. It's moved up about 20% after this fat move down here. I think that over 1407, so we can say 1410. 1410, we have room on this to 1450, which is going to be very hard to see. So I'll try and zoomerinsky here, just like that. Alright, let me check out the story on this one. This is going to be EGL. We're going to look at the fundamentals here. It has earnings on March 3rd. They did win some contract March 3rd. I know it's fourth quarter earnings. A hit piece came out. Hit pieces don't scare me. Let's see here. Okay, so this one, oops, let me zoom out here. This one is a very interesting setup. This would be a very short in and out trade. Would look for profit on the way to 1450s or so. That's where you're going to find resistance. Depending on what happens there, look to consider to add over that. I mean, I'm not going to tell you got room to $21 because it's probably not realistic with a 75-cent ATR that we're going to be in this trade by the time it gets there in March. I'm just going to say that this does have a big gap to fill here and very light resistance. Say realistically we can get to 1550 on this trade by March 3rd, and that'll be our target. This is not a bad looking setup here. I definitely want to see volume come in though. I'm going to check the high relative volume, see where this thing opens at in the morning. Might give us an opportunity for an early entry, and we ride it up for a half point or more on the day. We'll see what happens. This is EGL. It's a nice recovery and pivot off the lows. And now testing resistance long over 1410 here. with a stop at 13.75. First target is going to be 14.50, and then 15.50 before March. What did I say earnings were, guys? March 3rd, before March 3rd earnings. Okay, and so that is there's two items on the long list. I got one that's neutral. The Delta Airlines is neutral. TSN's on short watch still. I do want to check out. Nike was another one I was looking at earlier. This is another one that's run up for quite some time here. It's going to run into resistance at 63 bucks. It's a pretty big area of resistance for this. I think that it might fail that area and come back down. So I want to wait and see if it tests the 63 area. I'll be waiting to enter the 63 area. But look at this run Nike's had, over 20% here in just the last few weeks. And I think that, like I said, I think there's a good short opportunity coming up right here. But we'll wait to see what it does that area. I don't want to get in this prematurely. There's not really a good entry setup now. And you can see the targets on the way back down. Let me take this line out of here. So once we hit 63, our next target on the way down will be 61.40, 60.50, all the way potentially down to 59.50. And those areas obviously all correlate with previous key areas on this chart. So Nike's definitely on short watch. Not necessarily for tomorrow, but we're going to watch it at the 63 area. Especially if the market is weak, being a blue chip, I think Nike is going to take a hit after this big run that it's had, and trading just under a pretty big resistance area. And now, I'm not sure, I didn't look, the one thing I did not look at was Nike options to find out their liquidity. Yeah, so they're plenty liquid. So something to consider here. If you don't want to short, the stock, you can look at putting on a bear put spread. You can look at putting on a call credit, a credit from a bear call spread. That's not actually a bad idea, but we want this resistance to fail at 63 bucks. So what I would look to do if I wanted to take an option trade on this, I would look to sell the bear call spread as the 63 area is being tested and starts to fail. I want to collect as much premium as I can. If I sell it here now, then the trade will likely move against us before it starts moving in our favor. So if our short strike is around 63 bucks, 64 bucks, let's put this trade together real quick just to see what it might look like as a credit. What did I say? 63? What did I say? 63. Okay, so we're going to sell this. We're going to edit the legs here. I'll do one leg each, for example. Let's see, god dang it. Okay, we can get about $1 credit. That's only because the 62.50 is already in the money. There is no 63 strike. So let me check a closer expiration here, see if that changes at all. Yeah, okay. Okay, there's a 63 strike, and that is in the March expiration. So we could do a March expiration here. Problem is we're not going to get a ton of premium for this. But we can take a look. We'll collect about 66 cents. That's not horrible. This would be probably a pretty short-term trade. Anyways, you could look at putting on the 63, 66, 63, 65 bear call spread for about a 65, 70 cent credit, with the idea of, probably getting 50% of that as Nike fails that resistance area. You'd have to be bearish on Nike at $50. Just so you know, right now the implied volatility for Nike is at 28%. It's actually trading a little below the historical here. Let's look at the IV rank. That's going to be more important. The IV rank on Nike is at 55%. So it's not horrible. Something to keep in mind. If you didn't want to short the stock, you could put on a bear call spread, or you could do a bear put spread for a debit. Either way, those are your options. Nike's on short watch at $63. So let me put this. You're trading under large resistance area at 63, following a massive 20% bull run. Looking for retracement to support at 61.40, 60.50. Damn it. And 59.50. So retracement. I need to spell retracement. Jesus. Alright, so we are looking for a couple points of profit on this one. We'll see what happens, but only at that level. Entry, short entry will occur closer to the 63.00 level and not sooner. Let's see what the market gives us. We'll flip through some more short charts here. Don't like oil and gas right now. We're in, like I said, ConocoPhillips. It was our hedge against our USO position. We locked up 55% on that. Very nice return, very painless trade. Looking for USO here to pop up over $9 too. Hopefully we get called out on that. See, a lot of oil and gas names, obviously. As oil and gas is in play, these are all going to be on the watch list, so we're trying to pass around all these. I don't know. This looks like a road. Get that out of there. I don't know what this is doing here. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Okay, so interesting note here. This line was drawn on this chart one of the last times Shaq had hit the scanner. I drew this line on the chart because it represented obviously some area of significance. I'm not sure what day I drew this on here, but obviously we've looked at this before. Interesting to note, now that this has hit the scanner again, it's sold off and trades just above that same area, which also happens to coincide pretty dang close with the 20 and 50 EMA. This is why it's so important to identify pivots and support and resistance on your charts. This is why it's so important to identify the pivots and support and resistance on your charts. I'll say it over and over again. Previous support will become future resistance, and previous resistance will become future support. If you look at this chart here, previous support was right through here on December 21st, 2015. This thing right here, this red candle, tapped this 3760 area. Once the stock broke, look at it, tapped it again over here in January before finally breaking down, coming back up, falling short of it, coming back up, testing it, and then failing that area, coming back up and testing it, struggling to pop through, and then finally getting over. So this previous area of support became future resistance, still resistance through here, and then finally when it broke out, previous resistance is now future support. So the areas aren't going to be exactly to the dollar, but it's important to identify where you're going to run into areas of contention like that on the chart, right, guys? This is this is the very basics of understanding price action, directionality, how to read bullish or bearish setups, and understanding what's a high probability setup and what's a low probability setup. And so as far as this one goes, this isn't really a great setup for a trade. I just thought I'd point out the correlation there in the old line. Okay, looking for some shorts here. Okay, the reason I'm passing over all these dojis here, you can see this is a big doji. This one here is a big doji. Basically, it opened up and it ran up and it dropped down 4 points and then it closed right in the middle. So, or pretty damn close to the middle. So what this tells me is even though it moved from 36.5 to 33, this thing moved 4 points, 3.5 points intraday. It pretty much closed in the middle. So the buyers couldn't hold it up and the shorts couldn't push it down. So this is indecision right here. This is not a high probability short setup. Even though it's on our short scanner, huge volume spike, probably had earnings today or something. I don't know, I'm not even going to look. But I can tell you that this is one of those stocks that I would pass on because it's not a clean, it doesn't have a clean chart. It's not a clean trading, setup. And you can tell because look, here's another one of these big wicks to the upside, big wicks to the downside, upside. And it's just doji. I mean, every day this thing's a piece of shit. There is no clean setup for the last couple weeks on this chart. And I think I pointed this one out the other day when I was doing my last watch list. It was the same thing. It's just, I mean, this is junk. This is a junk stock to trade. Short term. There's just nothing about it is appealing. And I like sitting here looking at it because it makes me angry because it's so ugly. And it's such a shitty looking stock. How can people let this happen? How did they get into this thing and run it up a point, then let it drop down 3 points, and then it closes right where it opened, and it didn't even, no net change on the day. I mean, it just blows my mind. It's like, what are people doing? What are they looking at? When they're in here and they're buying and they're selling, and then it just closes. It's garbage, man. I hate it. All right, Smiley, take care, man. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to move off this chart here before it consumes me. This one's kind of fallen off here. But again, made this push down to support right back here. Previous support is still support, so it's not getting through. It would be resistance for a short trader, right? I just said previous support will become resistance. This is support. This is now resistance if you're short bias. Unable to get through this level. Buyers came in, bought it up. Saw this, bought it here. So not yet ready for a short. Blue. Oh, blue. I don't like blue. Blue and I have history. I'm already short. By the way, guys, I'm short biotech right now. I told you I'm in the IVB bear put spreads, so I am not looking to take on any more biotech stocks at this time until I close out that spread. So just keep that in mind. I'm not looking to overload my portfolio with any particular sector at this time, especially as the market trades in such a tumultuous area. Restoration Hardware, this is an interesting one. Let's see here. It obviously gapped down, moved, was a pretty big gap here, right? 25%. Not really any attempt to get back into the gap, but this thing does. It is worthy of watching for a move into the gap over time. I think maybe over $40 here. This might be good for a move to 45, but not until then. And we've cycled back around. So because the market popped up at the end of the day, dragged a lot of things with it. There's only 20 items on our short watch list. That's not a ton. There wasn't a lot of weak stocks out there today. So that's probably going to be it. I'm not going to force anything else. Guys, it's Friday. I mean, who are we kidding? We made a lot of money this week, and so let's not go too hard tomorrow and give it all back, okay? We have TSN, that's short watch. We have DAL, that's neutral. HTH, that's going to be a long. EGL is going to be a long. And Nike is going to be a bearish or short, but only off of that key level at 63. So that concludes the watch list build. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to email me, jeff@warriortrading.com. I'm going to print this up here, or finish it up, get it out to our members via email, and we will look to make some more money tomorrow and not give any back and hit it hard the following week. So over the weekend, I'll be out of town. I will have my computer with me, and I will be able to respond to emails. I do a lot of my email catching up on the weekend. So if you guys do need something, feel free to reach out to me. But I will be golfing on the beach somewhere, and so it may be delayed. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good night. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you all for the next watch list build.